tonight's episode, we're going to do an NBA draft Q&A, and special guest joining us tonight. He was a former NBA agent. Now on the other side of the table, he is the founder of Babcock Hoops and is an NBA draft analysis for Babcock Hoops. Matt Babcock joining us. Matt, how you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm doing well, CP. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks again for joining us. We had Jason Filippi on earlier this year from Babcock Hoops. I definitely respect what you guys bring to the table as far as your NBA draft coverage. So thanks for giving us some time.
No, thank you, and I appreciate you saying that. And Jason really knows what's going on. He's a ton of experience, especially with international players. But again, thanks again for having me, and thanks for the kind words.
Absolutely, man. So let's kick it off. Today, Babcock Hoops have released another edition of their mock draft. And at number 8, you guys have the Knicks picking Isaac Okoro, the wing out of Auburn. Tell me about Okoro. What do you like about him as a prospect?
You know, overall, he's probably the best athlete in the draft. You know, I mean, he's 6'6", 225. I mean, he really looks like a football player. Jumps out of the gym. Just overall, great athlete, and can defend everybody. I mean, I think he can defend 1 through 4. You know, in some cases, the 5. Obviously, we saw the Rockets playing PJ Tucker's as a 5. But yeah, just great athlete, good kid. Offensively, I think his game is somewhat simple, but at that stage in the draft, I think he'd be too good to pass up. I've got the first 6 guys kind of their own tier, so the Knicks are right after that tier, and I think they need talent, so they need to probably go with the best player available. And for me, with this simulated mock draft, Okoro was that guy.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on the best player available. I think my take is, go with the player with the highest ceiling. I think my major concern, and I think this is a concern of a lot of Knicks fans, is the shooting. The shooting deficiency, the free throws as well. We went through that this year with RJ Barrett. We have a lot of guys not shooting well on the Knicks, including Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina as well. What do you think about that fit, with those two on the wing, given the shooting deficiencies with that Okoro brings to the game?
Yeah, I thought about that exactly. I mean, that's definitely somewhat of a concern. Obviously, RJ's outside shooting is still a work in progress, and that's definitely Okoro's swing skill. And again, it just came down to I think the Knicks can go in a lot of different directions because they've got still somewhat of a blank canvas, even though they've got a couple nice young pieces. Again, Okoro, it's one of those deals that talent's there, and I think it's probably a situation probably shouldn't overanalyze it too much.
Yeah, and I'm sure Tibbs is watching Jimmy Butler go off in the bubble, and he's looking at Okoro in the same mold. So, I mean, this guy, as you said, is a Swiss Army knife. A guy that can play multiple positions. The motor is off the charts. Finishes well. Obviously finishes well. And, from what I read, his passing ability is underrated as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got a good floor game, knows how to play. Good finisher because he's so strong and explosive. And just doing background intel work on him too. Seems like a great kid. I think he's a guy that's going to get better and be accountable and reliable. And guys like that usually are able to develop their outside shooting a little bit better over the course of their career. So nothing's telling me that Okoro can at least be a decent shooter. And then just all the other stuff he does is great.
Interesting, man. Now at 27, a guy that Kenny Payne of the Knicks is familiar with. You guys have the Knicks taking Tyrese Maxey out of Kentucky. What do you like about Maxey's game?
Yeah, Maxey's a guy. I mean, he's somewhat polarizing this year, just because some people have had him as high as a top 10 pick. We've been a little lower on him. Just the way I see it is, he's a 6'2" shooting guard. I question how much point guard he can play. And so that's why, we've been a little bit lower on him than some of the other media and fans and whatnot. But hey, at 27, this would be a nice guy to bring on this team. He's somewhat of a culture builder, just a winner type kid, great defender, just crafty player offensively. Another guy's outside shooting is a little suspect. He's got a very low release. And if I remember correctly, only shot like 28% from 3. So again, I mean, the conversation, we had just a second ago, another guy that needs to improve his outside shooting, but at 27, same story. They need talent, and I think he'd be a good value pick at that spot.
Do you think his game as a playmaker can come around? Or do you think his role is mainly a scorer, maybe an off the bench 6-man role?
Yeah, I see him more as a complimentary guy. I think you play him at the 1 a little bit. I just don't see him being a floor general type lead guard. He definitely could defend point guards. But as far as the guy that control the tempo and get the ball where it needs to go, I like him off the ball better than as a true point guard. So I mean, the Knicks have a lot of moving parts, especially at point guard with Nicolina and Dennis Smith Jr. all these whispers of big trades in the in the near future. So we'll see. But I mean, Maxey's a guy late first round. Sort of what I said about Okoro. Probably just don't need to overanalyze it. The Knicks need talent, and that's probably the best player on the board.
Need talent in the worst way. I would not mind Maxey coming into the Garden, man, because I feel like he's got a moxie to him that even though the 3-point numbers aren't, what you would like for statistically, I think he's a guy that looks like he can raise his game, as the spotlight intensifies.
Yeah, no, he's a gamer. And last year's opening night at the Madison Square Garden, I was there and I saw him hit the big shot, and he's a big game player. There's no doubt about it. And so I think you're right. I think he could handle the bright lights of New York.
Absolutely. Now at 38, you have the Knicks taking Udoka Azubuike, 7-foot center out of Kansas. What do you like about his game?
Oh, he's just a big old boy. He's got great hands. I think he's a little underrated as far as an athlete goes, and he keeps getting better. I mean, he's really got his body together. And obviously the common narrative is that the big man is dead, and that's I wouldn't say it's dead. The value's diminished somewhat. But I think he's a guy that can be right off the bat, backup center for Mitchell Robinson, and play 10 to 20 minutes a game depending on the matchups and whatnot. And just another guy to kind of give you depth as you're building your roster and kind of giving different lineup flexibility.
Yeah, the backup five is going to be interesting. They did bring in Kenny Wooten on the two-way deal. They have Taj Gibson from a veteran presence, but I do think that they need to address that backup five. Not sure how high they are on Wooten. Obviously his game is more of a shot blocker, but Azubuike looks like he's got a better all-around game.
He's so powerful, and he's a great rim protector, and he's got great hands for being such a big guy. I mean, he gets anything around the hoop, and it showed some of the highlights that you have here. He just dunks everything, and so the game is pretty simple. But a guy that can put in the hole and also defend the rim on the other side of the court, I mean, to me, still has some value. I don't think he'll ever be a guy that plays major minutes. I think he'll probably get in some foul trouble. The speed of the game for being such a big guy. But at the same time, a backup center you can get at that stage in the draft as you're building your team, I think that would be valuable for them.
Interesting, man. So salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. So Babcock Hoops has Okoro at 8, Maxey 27, Azubuike at 38. What do you guys think? Leave us a comment in the chat. I want to hear what you guys have to say. The phone lines are up, 657-383-1509. Let's get to the callers. First caller up, we're going to go to Will from LI. Will, we need a draft question. So let's go to Hawaii. Let's go to B. Mura from Hawaii. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Go ahead with your question.
All right, bet. This is actually like a dream scenario that involves the draft. So as much as I love Mitch, you got to realize that he's a DeAndre Jordan type, probably not an all-star. So I say we trade Mitch, Frank, and number 8 to Golden State for number 2. With that pick, we take LaMelo. And then after that, we trade Randall for anything, literally anything. If you want another position, go trade him for a washing machine, all right? But we got to get rid of Julius, man. And then we don't keep Elbrid. Maybe Bobby, but I don't see it. Definitely not Wayne. And then Christian Wood. Christian Wood's got huge defensive potential, and obviously he can stretch the floor. Was a small sample size when he was knocking it down, but I think he got it. And then really focus and try and sign Jeremy Grant as well. And then for the backup, don't overthink it, man. We got the answers already. You call up Lamar Peters and Kenny Wooten. Those guys can ball, and I think they'll be good. That's pretty much it, man, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, bro. Matt, so some of these Knicks fans are wishing for this number 2 pick. Golden State's not going to take that package, man. But what do you think about Golden State at number 2 and some of their options there?
Well, I mean, obviously, Minnesota's in the driver's seat here, and it's been an interesting, couple weeks for us as far as trying to figure out what Minnesota will do. I mean, the highest, the most talented guys in this draft, in my opinion, are Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, and LaMelo Ball, with those other guys I mentioned before, right behind them. And the problem is that those top guys don't really fit Minnesota that well, and I'm not sure anybody in this draft is worth sort of remaking your whole team for. And so I think it is going to be an interesting, top part of the lottery. Just seeing how many teams do go for fit, as opposed to just whoever they think has the most upside. So whatever Minnesota does could change those next 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. I do think Golden State should address, their big man spot. I think James Wiseman or Kungwu would be great there. As far as New York moving up, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. We've actually talked about that with our staff. I actually think Anthony Edwards would be the guy to go chase to get. I think he's the guy that has a chance of being a primary scorer of a team. LaMelo Ball is a talented guy too, but I have Edwards slightly ahead of him.
Interesting. Very interesting. And what's also interesting is the Clippers, because it was announced today from Shams that the Clippers are going to be in the hunt for a playmaker. Do they try to, dabble with Paul George, maybe put him out there on the market? It's going to be very interesting to see how the Clippers, maneuver to try to get their team up to that championship level.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they need a primary ball handler. Beverly's so good defensively, but somebody that's a floor general on the offensive end, I think is really valuable. And a lot of times I think teams and the media are undervaluing it. And so this year there's a ton of great point guards. I mean, the depth at point guard is great. So if they want to address it in the draft, they certainly could do it.
Another mock draft I was looking at had the Knicks looking at Nico Mannion down in the 27-38 range. You're an Arizona guy. What's your take on Nico?
Yeah, it's been an interesting year as far as evaluating Nico. I watched him at the Hoop Summit last year, and he was terrific all week in the practices and in the game. And just the more I watched him this year at Arizona, I got more and more concerns. His body isn't that great, and from what I understand, he doesn't really commit to himself in the weight room. I lost confidence in his outside shooting. He's a great playmaker. He's got a knack to make a play for his teammates. And so, it's not all negative with him, but he certainly has slipped. He slipped all the way from being a guy that we had in the lottery early on in the year to, I think we have him in the 30s somewhere now. And so, not a bad player, just in a draft filled with point guards, he's slipped a little bit.
Got to put that work in. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to North Carolina. Los Main joins us. What's going on, bro?
So what's up? You hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, okay. With the 8th pick, do you think it would be too early to look at a guy like Saddiq Bey or Aaron Nesmith?
Yeah, Matt, what do you think about that? I would add Devin Vassell in there too, because that's a guy a lot of Knicks fans have pegged to the Knicks at 8. You have a lot of those 3 and D wings kind of bunched up there. You have Bey, you have Nesmith, you have Vassell. You've seen Patrick Williams' name going up there as well. How do you kind of rank those guys in terms of ceiling?
Yeah, I think that's the next grouping of guys, and I really was deciding with that pick between Okoro and Vassell. And sort of what you brought up earlier as far as outside shooting, Vassell would answer that, and so would Saddiq Bey and Aaron Nesmith. And so I have Okoro higher than that group, but it is close, and I think all of those names are worth discussing if you're the Knicks.
Absolutely, Los Main. Thanks for the call, man. And yeah, Patrick Williams seems to be that guy that's really shooting up on the mock drafts. With no basketball being played and very little intel, how does a name like that, from your perspective, jump up on the boards?
He's an upside guy, and so the first part of the year, his performances were pretty underwhelming. But the more you watch him, you see a guy that's really filling out physically. They list him at 6'8", 225. I think he's growing. I think he's a big guy. He's probably closer to 6'9", just a thick guy. When I saw him in high school, I thought he was going to be a big wing. He's really evolved to be more of like a modern stretch 4. Kind of reminds me of, I believe he played for the Knicks at one point, but Tim Thomas. Kind of reminds me of a Tim Thomas, Marvin Williams type guy. Can defend multiple positions, shoots it from outside, good athlete. And so I don't know if he's necessarily ready to come in next year and light the world on fire. But upside wise, it wouldn't shock me if in a few years from now he's one of the better players in this year's draft.
Interesting. We're talking to Matt Babcock, the founder of Babcock Hoops, also draft analyst for his company as well. So to everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's go back to Will. Will, how you feeling, man?
Hey, what's going on, CP? How you doing this evening?
Good, bro. How's everything?
Good. First off, happy birthday, bro. Happy belated. Hope it was good.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Matt, thank you for all the work you've done in the past also.
Yep. Thank you.
So my draft question was, Matt, you said that Saddiq Bey is where you have the Knicks picking with the 8th pick. Do you think Sadiq Bey or Aaron Nesmith, Devin Vassell, all these guys, do you think that they need a playmaking point guard to maximize their potential, or do you think that they could get by with the point guards we have now currently on the Knicks?
It's going to be interesting for sure, and I'm keeping a pulse on because they've got a lot of different options already. I mean, with Frank and Dennis Smith Jr., even though he's underperformed thus far, he's got talent, and so I mean they could stick with one of those guys and look to develop them and hope these guys continue to progress. I mean, they've got an interesting roster too. Is they've got a handful of guys that are either on team options or non-guaranteed deals. So, I mean, they could clear out a ton of cap space, or they could go do it in the draft. I mean, there's a ton of good point guards in this draft. I mean, you got Tyrese Haliburton, Kyra Lewis, R.J. Hampton. I mean, the list goes on. And so, I mean, they really have a lot of flexibility. It's really hard to project exactly what they're going to do, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And that leads on to my second question. I'll leave you guys off of this. Do you think that Kara Lewis, well, number one, what are the downsides of Kara Lewis? I think it could be his size at 165, I believe. And what, if any, do you think are his weaknesses? Thank you guys for the call. I'll let you guys get to it.
No, thanks for the questions. With Kyra, I mean, you're absolutely right. He needs to get stronger. I believe they list something like 165 or something like that. And needs to get stronger. Other than that, I mean, I'm really not that concerned with too much, with Kyra. I mean, I really trust his ability to shoot the ball, and he's got elite speed. I mean, he's really going to be able to step in the league. And, in the NBA where everything is really stretched out, I think his speed is going to even play even more of an impact rather than playing in college where there's so much zone and whatnot. But we really like Kyra, and he's one of those guys. The more we kind of dig on him, the more we like him. I mean, he's gradually chipped away at us, and now we've got him, as a near lottery pick.
Yeah, I think you guys had him on the mock draft at around 15 for Kyra Lewis. How about Tyrell Terry? He's another guy that Knicks fans have been asking about around that 27-38 range. What do you think about Tyrell Terry's game?
Yeah, I see him more as an upside guy. I mean, he really shoots the ball well. I mean, he's extremely skilled, in this day and age. I mean, outside shooting is everything, right? And so, it's a guy that I think is really kind of, waking people up to, hey, who is this guy that we all thought was going to be in school another year? We got to check this guy out a little bit more. And, I mean, some people have brought up like the Steph Curry comparison. I don't think that's necessarily fair for Terry, but he's got some upside. He absolutely needs to get stronger. I mean, it's a much bigger issue for him than it is for Kyra Lewis. I think he's going to have a hard time in the NBA next year defensively. And he's not overly quick, so I see him as a guy as more of like a developmental guy rather than the Knicks take him and think he's going to be the answer quickly. But that skill level is worth taking a look at for sure.
Taking a flyer on, yeah. Hey, at 38, I would certainly look into it. All right, let's get back to the phones. My guy Jay Boogie from North Carolina. I already know who he wants to talk about. Jay Boogie, what's going on, bro?
Yep. Hey, how y'all doing, man? Staying blessed, and healthy and everything. Hey, happy birthday to you and everything. But I'm going to be real quick with my situation. If we can't get a top-notch point guard from LaMelo down to Killian Hayes with that 8th pick, I really, really like that boy Nesmith, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm a big fan of Jerry Stackhouse. I believe in his work. Pay attention to Fleet. Pay attention to Siakam. Jeff Powell. All that work he put over there at Vandenberg. That boy is bringing that boy along. If that man say that man is ready to go, then I believe that man is ready to go. All that talent and athletic skills and all that, yeah, that's good. But hard work wins. I remember back before when I wanted Jimmy Butler, everybody was like, nah, I don't get Jimmy Butler. Hard work pays off. That dude worked. He's the next coming. He's the next coming of Klay Thomas. Nobody out there said anything about a Klay Thomas, but that man got a 7-foot wingspan. He played D, and he knocked down that jumper. We ain't had no sniper. And then I like to move up and get as a point guard, somebody like Cole Anthony or something. We use the word point guard, but it's no point guard league no more. It's all scoring guards. If you can't score or get it off the bounce, then you're really not doing anything. That point guard thing is faded out, man. And please don't go get Chris Paul. Go ahead and make that trade and get that boy over there in Utah because his contract expired. the following year so we keep our money situated, man. Peace, love, and happiness, man.
Boogie, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Matt, your thoughts on Aaron Nesmith, one of the best shooters in the draft?
Yeah, I love Nesmith, and I'm gonna one up you there. He is the best shooter in the draft, in my opinion. Stack did a terrific job with him this year at Vanderbilt. Ran a lot of NBA type sets for him, and he really showed his versatility as a shooter. This wasn't a bunch of just catch and shoot simple shots. I mean, he's coming off screens, he's putting it on the floor. I mean, he really opened my eyes. This guy could be special as far as shooting and scoring the ball. I do think he needs to get better defensively. He's got a nice frame. I mean, you see him in person. I mean, he's a stud kid physically, I've got to know his dad a little bit, and comes from a really great family, just a good kid. And so, hey, no arguments there. If the Knicks want to look at him that high, I wouldn't argue that.
Well, what are the holes in his game that you feel like he needs to work on at the next level?
I think his instincts are behind a little bit. I mean, especially on the defensive end. He's a good athlete. He's strong, extremely smart kid. I think he's not one of these guys that's got a knack to make plays. Sort of finds himself in tough spots defensively at times. But being a good kid that's reliable and all that, I think he'll pick things up and continually improve.
Another guy that's very polarizing amongst all fan bases, but Knicks fans in particular, Cole Anthony. What's your take on Cole Anthony at this stage of the game?
I've watched Cole since he was in high school. Super talented kid. I mean, like the ultimate alpha dog. My big concern with him, is he good enough to have such an alpha dog approach to the game? Some of the intel has hurt him a little bit as far as how he'll coexist with other top players on an NBA team. And so I'm a little lower on him than a lot of people are. But hey, talented scorer, assertive guy, real aggressive competitor. So I mean, there are some clear-cut, good things that he brings to the table. Maybe not necessarily my type of guy, but somebody might take him high.
Interesting. So you think that character standpoint needs to be a bit more humble? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think one name that's come up with him a lot is Austin Rivers. Austin was so hyped up out of high school, and at Duke he was such an assertive scorer. He's coming into the league, and it's not like Austin's had this horrible career or anything, but he hasn't been this all-star type guy that some people hyped him up. I think Cole's going to be kind of in that category.
Interesting. All right, let's get back to the phones. My guy Jay from Florida. Now, Matt, we call him the anti-Haliburton. He's not a Haliburton guy, but he's got some thoughts on the draft. Jay, what's going on, man?
Yeah, what's up, CP? Happy birthday, bro.
Thank you, bro. How's it going?
Matt, Mr. Babcock, sir. I want to hear your thoughts on Tyrese Haliburton, because we have a lot of Knicks fans that like Haliburton. I think that he's Frank times 2. Can't get to the cup. Can't shoot it off the dribble. I just don't see it. I don't personally see it. Second, I've been looking at Nesmith. I like Nesmith. Nesmith looks like a Joe Johnson type player to me. Nesmith looks like he could play. And then Poku. We got Jovic going nuts in the bubble. Poku's skinny. We don't have a lot of film on Poku. What do you think about Poku?
Sure. Great questions there. First one with Haliburton. I personally do think he's been a little hyped up. We had him pretty high for a while. We had him at 10. I felt like he was a good fit to Phoenix next to Devin Booker. He'd kind of be, a simple, solid guy that knows how to play, that could stretch the floor. I told this to our staff every time we did it. This is on his high side, and granted, I've talked to some NBA scouts that have him as a top 5 pick. And so I think there's a wide range of how people view him. I'm personally concerned with his lack of physicality and overall athleticism. Like you said, I don't think he's blown by anybody off the dribble. I think he's going to be a guy that can play on the ball, off the ball, just a smart player. He shoots the ball. The mechanics are funky. Kind of looks like a Bob Cousy type shot, but funky, really shoots it with range, and he's reliable there. So I think he's going to be a solid player, but if you're looking to bring a guy in to be a star type, I don't necessarily see that. As far as Nesmith, yeah, you're spot on. I mean, he's a great player. Joe Johnson type build, Joe Johnson type shooter, does not put it on the floor like Joe Johnson. He's not going to create a whole lot. I think he's more of a shooter, straight line driver, but good player nonetheless. And then with Poku, he's an interesting one. I mean, as far as Knicks fans go, you guys just traded Porzingis, and this kid's a lot like that. 7-footer, he's about 200 pounds. It's kind of got some of the unicorn thing to him. I mean, a 7-footer that can put on the floor and pass and shoot with range. I think he's a couple years away, just getting his body together where he's able to play major minutes in the NBA. But he's definitely an upside guy.
Matt, one more question. Do you think now, another dude, the Golden State, EP doesn't think this could happen, but do you think we could put together a package to possibly trade for LaMelo Anthony Edwards? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it might happen?
Yeah, I do think it's possible. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Golden State. I mean, I think Minnesota, Gerson Rosas of Minnesota has come out publicly saying they're going to put that pick on the market. And, I've gotten a lot of heat for putting Obi Toppin at number 1. And I totally get it. I mean, I think there's other players that have more upside than Obi does. But Obi or even Denny Avdija fit the Timberwolves better than those other players. And so I think they're a perfect candidate to move back, and take a player that fits them better and maybe get some other, assets. So yeah, the Knicks is they're one team that we've talked about behind closed doors of being a team that we expect to be aggressive of possibly moving up.
Yeah, I think that pick is up for grabs. I agree with you on that one. The number 1 pick could be up for grabs as well, but I just don't think the Knicks will be that aggressive to pay the price that it'll take to get him up there. I just don't.
And CP, being devil's advocate here, I think this year is a lot different than it is in other years. There's not clear cut number 1, number 2 guys, and so I don't think it'll take as much as it would in most years. And so, the big one thing is like one built-in sweetener for the Timberwolves moving back is they'll save quite a bit of money. For example, I did an interview recently for a Cleveland Cavaliers podcast, and hypothetically, if they were to move back to 5, they would save $15 million on the course of that rookie contract, right. And so. $15 million, that's not nothing, and so, that alone, kind of makes it sort of appealing to the Timberwolves to move back to get a guy that fits them, save some money and get whatever additional pieces you can get.
Interesting. And there's a lot of salary cap implications going into next season. So, you could definitely be right there. Couple other things that came out, the pre-draft information, the pre-draft process that came out. And here's what how the schedule lays out. From this week, they're going to be holding virtual NBA interviews via video conference. Seems like the NBA is going to be conducting all of this. From the 28th to October 16th, they're going to be doing in-market medical exams. You're going to be doing the strength and agility test, shooting drills at team facilities, and a pro day video. How do you think this impacts how the agents are able to kind of present their players and market their players, and how the teams are able to evaluate these players with these changes?
Yeah, no, it's my phone's been blowing up from agents just kind of asking my opinion of everything, and there's some questions that still need to be answered as far as all the protocols there. But the most important things here are the medical examinations and the physical testing. And for a team to go into draft night, asking their owner to invest millions of dollars on a guy without knowing if he's got any, lingering issues or pre-existing injuries is crucial. One thing to keep in mind, I'm expecting a lot of the top players to be held out from these combines. And so I think what they'll do is they'll pick and choose which teams they want their guy to go to, and they'll send the medical information directly to those teams rather than having the whole league get them. But it's still important nonetheless. The shooting drills and the pro day video, I think it could help out some guys that have, been a little bit under the radar, or, we've got like Josh Hall's coming from a prep school, Jay Scrubb's coming from a junior college. The sample size to evaluate them is pretty small. That could help guys like that. But across the board, myself and anybody working in the NBA, we know most of these guys on the floor pretty well.
That's interesting. And you mentioned Jay Scrubb. You had a chance to go see Jay Scrubb last week. What were your impressions of him?
Super upside. He's 6'6" plus, 6'10" wingspan, high level athlete, shoots the ball from all over the floor with ease, puts it on the floor. He's got all the raw, talent you want out of a potential, big time player. He's a little green. He needs to learn how to play. He needs to get his body together. But he's got upside. And so I think somebody will probably take him higher than a lot of people are expecting.
Very interesting. I think in your mock draft you have in the 30s, around 30.
Yeah, I believe I put him at 30 to Boston. Boston's got multiple picks.
Yeah.
When you have multiple picks like that, it takes some pressure off, some of those second, third picks. Hey, maybe we take an upside guy, swing for the fences. And I think Scrub's that kind of guy.
Interesting. Okay, a couple more calls in the chat. Let's go to Dwayne from North Carolina. Dwayne, how you feeling, bro?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
So I had a couple of questions for you. I know that I may have missed it, so apologize if I'm repeating it. But I wanted to know what were your thoughts on Tyrese Maxey, and what were some of the things that you found to be concerning with him, and also wanted to know what is your scouting report on Josh Hall?
Okay, so with Maxey, I mean the issues for me are he's a 6'2" shooting guard. I question his ability to be a primary point guard. He's really good on the defensive end, and CP, you mentioned he's got a moxie to him. He's got a great presence, floor presence to him, and I just being undersized, lacking point guard skills and feel, it just holds him back for me a little bit. I still really like him. It's not a guy. People will say, "Oh, why do you hate Maxey?" Hey, I don't hate the kid. The kid's really good. It's just there's guys I like better than him, and so I've got him more as a late first round pick rather than a lottery pick where some people have him, and that's just that's just how it unfolded for me. What was the second player you asked about?
Josh Hall.
Oh, Josh Hall. Yeah. So I spent time with Josh a couple weeks ago. Similar to what I said about Jay Scrub, upside guy. I mean, a young kid that's coming out of prep school. He's got all the physical tools. I mean, 6'9", 7-foot wingspan, good athlete, and just a raw skill set. I mean, he's able to shoot threes, finish at the rim. He's got to grow as a player. He just needs time. He needs to continue getting stronger and learning the game. And the way I see it is when a guy's got upside, it means they're far from being a finished product. It doesn't mean I'm necessarily real worried about him, but it's just like when there's a number of things that need to be done, they have to get done for the kid to be good. And so it creates some risk. And so the high upside guys, they are somewhat risky, but Josh has got a chance. If things were to click with him, he's got a chance to be a really good player.
Interesting. Last call from Matt's going to go to JJ from Brooklyn. JJ, how you feeling, man?
What's going on? Happy birthday, bro.
Thank you, bro. How's everything?
No problem. Everything's good, man. I just wanted to ask one quick question and then one other point. Is obviously besides falling to 8, that did not hurt was that Detroit is ahead of us in the draft. So what do you think about just jumping up just because from 8 to 6, just to get ahead of Detroit? Because I really like Killian Hayes, and I think they're probably going to take him. So what do you think of trying to, just package something just to get up ahead, one spot ahead of Detroit? And then the thing with Okoro is I like him a lot, but I just don't think he's a great fit here just because he's not a shooter. That's why I think, when you look at Nesmith and Vassell, I think those are probably the two best fits here, especially next to RJ. They're both great shooters. They're both great off-ball, which is a great fit with RJ. I don't think he needs, whether you move RJ to the 3 or you keep him at the 2. I think it'll be great with some next to him that's great off ball, and both of those guys are. So, those are the two guys. One of those two I'll be happy with at 8, and then again I would think about trying to jump up to 6 if we could try and get Killian.
Okay, appreciate the call, JJ. Yeah, man, I think a lot of speculations that Detroit obviously is in the market for a point guard as well. Do they take Killian there at 6? What do you think about Killian Hayes overall?
I like Killian. He's gotten so much better. I went to France last year and watched him practice for a couple of days, and he's really grown this year. He moved to a team in Germany where he's able to run the show and thrived. I mean, he's turned himself into a legitimate scorer and playmaker, and he's got great size at 6'5". And he would be a good fit for New York for sure. And as far as moving up, it just all depends on what you have to give up. I mean, right now I've got the Hawks taking a Okongwu from USC. And to me, Okongwu is on an entirely different level, even though he's only 2 picks ahead of there. That first 6 is pretty solid for me. And so once you get into 7 or 8, you might need to, pay up to do it. So, definitely worth discussing because, Hayes would fit what they're doing. As far as your takes on Okoro, we had talked about that before, me and CP did. And, that's certainly a reasonable take. The outside shooting is his swing skill. You have him and RJ on the same floor. That needs to be addressed. I like his upside a lot. And so, that's who I would take. But that's a good argument. That's definitely something that I talked about with my staff before we did this mock draft.
But it seems like with Okoro, from what you're reading, is that, they feel like his shot can improve.
Yeah, I think so. His mechanics aren't bad. I don't necessarily think he's like mentally wired to be a shooter, but I think with how he plays, he's gonna play the three. You just need to hit him to be able to hit open shots. And so RJ does so much on the ball. If Okoro is able to develop to where he just hit an wide open shot in the corner, that's probably enough. And then now all of a sudden you're getting a guy that could potentially even be the best perimeter defender in the league in a couple years. I think he's got that much athletic upside and defensive upside. And so that's. That really intrigued me. And just at that point, I thought he was the best player, but again, certainly a reasonable take.
Interesting indeed, man. Well, Matt, I definitely appreciate you coming on and addressing the fans. Hopefully we can do this again. Definitely want to pick your brain on a lot of topics concerning basketball, man, especially since you've been on the agency side of the house. Would love to pick your brain about your time at University of Arizona as well, man. So,
anytime, and I really enjoyed doing this. And CP, you're a good dude, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's been a good one.
Man. Just let the fans know where they can find you and some of your latest work.
Yeah, so our site, BabcockHoops.com, and then you can find me on Twitter at MattBabcock11. Then I'm also doing stuff for CBS Sports HQ, which is a streaming channel, CBSSportsHQ.com. Then also a new startup, BasketballNews.com. So I'm kind of all over the place, but a lot of draft coverage. And yeah, if you're interested in the draft, which the Knicks fans should be, you got 3 good picks this year, so check us out.
We'll be for some time to come, man. But Matt, thanks again for the time, man.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good one.
Take care. That was Matt Babcock from Babcock Hoops. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. We'll throw the link to the Babcock Hoops mock draft in the chat. You guys let me know what you think. So he's got Isaac Okoro at 8, Tyrese Maxey at 27, and Udoka Azubuike at 38. What do you guys think about that? I think for me, again, the Okoro situation, yes, the shooting is a concern, but the skill sets, how do you pass that up? If Tibbs feels like he's got the second coming of Jimmy Butler in this kid, it's going to be tough. It's tough sledding in the beginning, but, take it and roll the dice. Let's see what happens. The shooting is definitely a concern, especially when you factor in RJ Barrett, who himself is working on his shot, his mechanics. His free throw shooting numbers were abysmal, 61%. I think Okoro was around 67 at Auburn. But Okoro, conversely from RJ, better finisher, excellent slasher, super athletic. Certainly something that we could use on this team. And the passing ability, so how does his game round out as he matures? It'll be very interesting. And Maxey, I like Maxey's game, man. I told you guys, I like Maxey's game. I don't let the shooting statistics deter me. I think that's something that, you have to take that into consideration, but you also have to take into consideration who this guy's playing with, how he excels at the next level, how he grows at the next level, how does he play in the clutch? I think that's the type of player that Maxey can be. He's not Donovan Mitchell. He may not be a great, overall point guard, but as a scorer, I would definitely take him. Let's see what everybody in the chat is saying. We got 668 in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. We got 168 likes. We got to get those likes up. Definitely got to get those likes up. My guy Stella Pacino in the chat says, you take Okoro. He has such a great IQ, and he's a playmaker. Excellent defender. So Stella Pacino is a believer in Team Okoro. And like I said, man, when you factor in what this division is looking like, it's not going to get any easier on the Knicks, man. When you factor in KD coming back to the Nets, factor in what Toronto's working with Siakam and those guys on the wing. Look at Boston. Look no further than the Boston Celtics when Tatum and Brown are establishing themselves as a powerhouse tandem. Sixers, will they come back with Simmons? Sixers are coming back with something. So, that division is going to be heavy, man. So, listen, we're going to need defense. Definitely going to need defense on the wings and some flexibility out there with your lineups. So, it would certainly be an interesting fit. But damn, they would be the New York Bricks for a little bit. Just got to get that figured out, Let me shout out some of the super chats here with us. A lot of super chats came in. Michael Parker, #1 fan of the show, says, happy born day, CP. Salute to the chat one time for the mods. Yeah, it was my birthday yesterday, man. Salute to everybody on the birthday love, Birthday yesterday. Comes around once a year. So I had a good time, celebrated with the family. As you get older, you appreciate the little things. And for me, it's just spending that family time and just relaxing. So had a good birthday, man. Grown Tim in the chat, happy birthday, CP. Thanks for everything you've been doing for the lunatic Knicks fans like myself. I'm a lunatic Knicks fan myself, man. This is why I do what I do. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. If you're a diehard Knicks fan, hit that thumbs up. God bless. By the way, we need to draft Vassell with that 8th pick. He has star potential. Grown Simba sees star potential from Vassell. Money Mark S says, forget about this LaMelo pipe dream. Can't shoot or play D. Stay at 8. Draft Vassell, who does both. No trading draft picks. Money Mark is against it. No trading draft picks. Anthony Parasol, appreciate it, Anthony. Appreciate the love. He says, happy birthday, CP Jackman. Appreciate it. Robert Parris says, I'm a defense first guy, yet Okoro may never find his jumper. That's the gamble. Do you go with Okoro? Do you go with Vassell, who's been shot 40% consistently in his 2 years at Florida State? Do you go Saddiq Bey? Played in a pro-style offense at Villanova. Can probably come right in, plug and play, ready to roll. Do you go Nesmith? Matt came on and said Nesmith's defense is not the best. Needs to work on it. Needs to work on his defense. So, again, interesting. Interesting debate. Kaiser Sose says, what about Nesmith? Yep, just made that point. Gartrell Davis, happy birthday, CP. I don't think Maxey will be there at 27. What about RJ Hampton at that spot? RJ Hampton is a guy whose name you're hearing a lot about lately. Another guy who's working on his shot, working on his mechanics, and trying to improve there. Some people see a Westbrook clone in RJ Hampton. So we'll see. Let's see where Matt and Babcock Hoops have R.J. Hampton. Where do they have R.J. Hampton on their list? They have him at R.J. Hampton. They have him at 18 in Dallas. That's what, and let me just drop this link in the chat for you guys. I told you guys I was going to drop the link. So to everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Let me drop this link in the chat. Babcock Hoops. Make sure you support those guys. Another episode that we did with Babcock Hoops was with Jason Filippi. Jason is out there in Italy, and he covers all of the international prospects. You can find that video on my channel as well. We did it about early March. So Jason, he broke down more on Killian Hayes, Pokusevski, Leandro Bolmero. We talked about Theo Maledon. Maybe a couple more candidates. We talked about Denny, obviously Denny Avdia, but not really looking for him at the Knicks at number 8. But check that episode out, man. These guys do great work, and these are the guys that study these prospects, man. These are the guys that study these prospects. These are guys who I want to come on and dish with the fans and let the fans know what they're thinking. And yeah, hopefully the Knicks make the right decision. Joel John, happy birthday, CP. Do you think the Knicks will be aggressive in the trade market? I do think they will put Randall on the block. I do think they'll put Randall on the block. I think they need to be aggressive in terms of taking on salary and trying to continue to build draft capital, draft assets, or the draft war chest. So I think in that way they should be aggressive. I think they should be aggressive in that regard. So, but for established players, I'm not so sure. Do they go out and trade for a young talent still with some upside, not so sure. But I think they should go out, and I think they will go out and try to get some overpaid talent on less than desirable contracts and pick up some draft capital. Maybe they get involved as a third or fourth party in one of these big contract salary dumps. Is a Horford trade there for them to get involved with? Is a CP3 trade as a participant or as a facilitator? Are they there for that? Are they there for a Bradley Beal or John Wall trade as a facilitator? Those are the type of things I think that they should try to get involved in. Alan Berman says, Sloot, I'm hoping we don't overlook Nico Mannion if he's there at 27 or with the second. We need shooting, and for Randall to GTFOH for literally everything. Anything, even nothing. Just free the cap. So Alan Berman is there. He wants Randall out of there by any means necessary. Salute to somebody said their team #new in here. Who's in here from team #new? Let me shout you guys out, man. If you're new in the chat, leave us a #new so I can shout you guys out. Tom Bystander, welcome to the family, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Definitely appreciate it. Kaiser Sose, happy birthday, CP. Kaiser Sose, appreciate it. Definitely love that name. Usual suspects is my joint. If Okoro is there, this is from Jacques Duran. If Okoro is there, take him. If not, Vassell, Kyra, and I'm afraid to say Cole Anthony. Happy belated. Louis B says, happy birthday, CP. Huge fan of the show. Thanks for the repost today. Keep up the great work. Louis B, thanks for the support, man. Been supporting for a while since earlier this season. Definitely appreciate the support, Louis B. And there was a collaboration. Louis B mentions the repost. There was a collaboration between JBL Audio and I think Louis B's school, the school that Louis B works at. Looks like JBL and the Knicks had teamed up to donate some headphones for kids that were doing remote learning. So always a good thing, and getting involved in community service and helping the community. A lot of kids are kind of out of sorts and displaced due to COVID and, not being able to physically be in school with their peers. So I thought that was a good gesture. So good job by JBL and good job by the Knicks as well. New Breed MC Music says, #new. Masai owns NYK. #new. It's been a while since the Knicks, and the Raptors discussed things. But, yeah, I can't say you're wrong. Can't see you're wrong. Does Masai let Fred VanVleet walk out of the door? Is the question. Does he let FVV out of the door? He said that's his number one priority, is bringing back Fred VanVleet. What do you guys think about that? Kokolo TV, team #new. Welcome, Kokolo TV. Yusuf F, team #new. What's going on? Game Time G, Devon Merritt, welcome to the family. H Money 821, welcome to the family. Definitely appreciate that. Somebody's in here spamming about Jeremy Lin. No, thank you. Pass is a pass. Let's just leave it at that. Tony Ward, definitely appreciate it. I forgot to pay bills, man, with my shameless plug. This episode is also brought to you by Manscaped. Now, you guys saw the Nuggets were devastated last night on Anthony Davis's heroics. But my people at Manscaped are making sure that you protect your nuggets. And that's with the Lawnmower 3.0, the #1 men's grooming tool below the waist. It comes with a aerodynamic ceramic blade, so you don't have to nick yourself, fellas. It's very clutch. Cordless, extended battery life, great battery life, LED lighting, waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. This is what I use, fellas. And tonight, go to manscaped.com, enter promo code Knicks on your purchase, and get 20% off plus free shipping. That's www.manscaped.com. Tell them CP sent you. 20% off with promo code Knicks and free shipping. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's see who else is on the phones. Let's go to Joe from Yonkers in the building. Joe, how you feeling, man?
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, bro. Go ahead. What's your point?
Hey, what's happening? Happy birthday, man. I'm hearing these trade rumors going around now about a three-way trade with the Knicks, Phoenix, and OKC. Do you think it's the possibility that trade goes through of us landing the 10th pick? And would you consider moving 8 and 10 to get either Killian or LaMelo?
Joe, where you from? You said Joe from Yonkers, man. Are you calling from Ireland or Scotland?
Oh, well, I'm from Ireland, but I live in Yonkers.
There you go. So salute to everybody from the Emerald Isle, man. My guy Alex Collins he's a frequent in here from Ireland, and my guy Darryl Walsh as well, man. So salute to all my Irish cats, man. We're in here heavy. I don't think the Oubre stuff was I don't think that there was any like real rumors around it. I think that was, you know, some Knicks fan trades that were being bandied about of hypotheticals. You know, really of hypotheticals, but potentials that they could do in terms of, you know, getting Kelly Oubre, facilitating the Chris Paul trade, in where they would help Chris Paul get to Phoenix. Phoenix would give the Knicks number 10, and the Knicks would take on some salary and get Kelly Oubre back in the deal. I think that was like kind of the framework that one of our people on Knicks Twitter had proposed. I liked it. You know, I would take Kelly Oubre on this team. Yeah. I like his game. He's a little crazy. I kind of like that. You know, I kind of like that. Knicks always have that one guy that's a little, you know, a couple screws loose. You know what I mean? I kind of like that. For 8 and 10, I would just draft.
Yeah, they need the dog.
Yeah. They need a dog, man. And I like what Oubre would bring. So, I mean, if that means they get number 10 out of the deal, then you could go get your wing, whether you want Okoro, whether you want Vassell. And then at 10, if you want to jump up and go get Kyra Lewis, go get him. Or you want to get Nesmith. You know, maybe you want to get Nesmith out of the deal. You know? Or maybe if Hayes is there at 8, you go get Hayes at 8. And then at 10, you go get whoever's left out of, you know, Okoro, Vassell, Bay, Nesmith, whoever the Knicks rank on their board.
Yeah. Yeah, I think no matter what situation happens, I think that the Knicks need to kind of move up and get Hayes. I think they need to jump up off for maybe 8 and 37 or 38, move up and get Hayes, and then maybe get, I think, Jalen Smith maybe with 27.
Interesting. Okay. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call, Joe. Let's see where Babcock Hoops has Jalen Smith. From a lot of the mock drafts that you look at, you don't see too many with Jalen Smith. Let me get my screen here so you guys can watch along. You don't see as many with Jalen Smith in the 20s. You see a lot of Jalen Smith in the teens. And Babcock Hoops has him around, they got him at 25. They got Jalen Smith around 25. Very interesting. Very interesting, man. You know, these mock drafts are all over the place. That's why I kind of like to get different guys in there, give you their take on these prospects. You know, who knows? I think Cole's draft range has been pretty consistent. Cole Anthony. Seeing Malachi Flynn at 21, he's a name that guys like. Where's Grant Riller? I know you got a lot of you guys like Grant Riller. Babcock Hoops has him down at 48. Xavier Tillman, another guy some of you guys like. 49. Cassius Winston, some of you guys like. They got him at 55. So we'll see, man. Come November 18th, we shall see where the chips fall. But these are interesting, man. What do you guys think? Isaac Okoro at 8. How would you react to that? Let me know what you think. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Knicks are in camp again this week. I believe we are in the individual workouts still, and then they will move into the team drills. So Knicks are getting it going. They're getting involved. You're seeing a lot of Johnny Bryant working with some guys. You're seeing him working with Frank. You're seeing him working with Dennis Smith Jr. So we'll see how all of that plays out. See how all that plays out, man. What do you guys think about what's going on in the bubble? Lakers seem like they are taking a commanding lead there. How will the Nuggets bounce back? You know, costly play by Plumlee, man. He's a good dude. Tough that he went out like that, but you know, fell asleep at the wheel. You know, with Plumlee, he's gotta stick to his man. He's calling out switches on AD. It's only 2 seconds left. You gotta cling to him. And so, you know, a lot of the times late game execution comes down to just being mentally aware. You know, you're tired, the grind of the game, you're exhausted, but you gotta have your senses on. You gotta have your senses on at all times. And I think Mason Plumlee just got caught in a mental lapse, and AD splashed it. Here's something what's posting and toasting talking about. They're saying Frank releases a video clip of shooting new jump shots. Frank working on his jumper. What's going on here? Here we go. Okay. Frank and Johnny Bryant getting it in. Let's see what's going on here. See what Frank is working on. All right. Okay, Frank. Frank working on those corner threes. The corner three. Frank shot 50%. Salute to my guy Alex Rotaros. Great work on that. Frank shooting 50% from the corner three. So you see that. So you've been seeing a lot of workout videos where Frank has been in those corners kind of working on that. So let's see what becomes of this. This is Frank and Johnny Bryant. Let's start this over. It was kind of cut off on the live stream. See what's going on here. Frank and Johnny Bryant getting in work. Okay. What do you guys think? Do you guys still have faith in Frank? Or have you bailed? Hey, listen, man. There has been no Knicks basketball since March. We're getting excited about coaching picks. We're getting excited about workout videos. All right, let's see. Here it is. Full screen now for the people at home watching. What do you guys think about this? Break this down. What do you think about this shot? All right, Frank working on a little movement shooting. Marlon Small says the new Lance Thomas from the corner. That was Lance's shot, wasn't it? That was Lance's shot. TM says, I'm not convinced. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't get too high or low over workout videos. I just like to show them to hype people up or to get people pissed off. It's one or the other. I just like to stir up emotions from the Knicks fans. I don't get too hyped, you know? Look at Joe Flynn. Are his arms up or out? You know, the overanalyzing of everything. Yeah, looks like Frank is working on his shot. So okay, there you go. I think Mitch was in camp working on some things as well. Let's see what Money Mitch is doing. So we got Frank. We got some shots of Money Mitch. Saquon Barkley. Oof, we lost Saquon, man. We lost Saquon. Definitely was not a good birthday gift. My Giants got worked in Chicago. Came back, but you know. Wasn't what I was looking for. Here's Dotson. Will Dotson be back in an orange and blue uniform next year? What do you guys think? Are you guys Team Dotson? Are you guys Team Dotson? If you're Team Dotson, leave a hashtag free dot. Because I'm a Dotson guy. You know, I'm a Dotson guy. I'd love to see him get consistent burn on this team. I think Tibbs would love him. I think he'll fit right in with Tibbs. And I think he needs an opportunity, a consistent run. I like Dotson as a rotation player. Nothing more than that. Just a bench guy. You know, just a bench guy. You know, I don't see anything other, you know, more promising in his future. It's just somebody to bring off the bench. What do you guys think about Dotson? Let me know about that in the chat. So let's see what else we got here from camp. It's one thing the Knicks do well. They do marketing. Let's see what they got. We got the RJ Saturday mixtape. All right, no doubt. Here we go. A little Money Mitch baseline jumpers. What do you guys think about this? Money Mitch working on his baseline jump shots. All right. Mitch getting active. So the guys are working, man. The guys are working. We see a couple free dots in the chat. A lot of free dots in the chat. Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to see Doc come back, man. Oh, we got some phone calls, man. Let's go to Ken from Pennsylvania. Ken, how you feeling, bro?
Hey, man, how you doing? I'm glad you got to me real quick. You don't get many guys from Pennsylvania. I'm originally a phenomenon.
Absolutely, man. How you doing, Ken?
Good. I've been watching the last couple of weeks, what you've put on, and I'm glad I caught you live. I'm very interested in Vassell. Just watching some of his clips that you show on the program. I mean, I can't believe the guy's defense. And I said to myself, if that's the only thing the guy can do, I mean, he's going to lock down somebody who's not going to score any points at all. Then you see the guy has offense, and I love Toppin also.
Yeah,
and James Dolan. James Dolan. I mean, the guy spends money left and right over all these years. I think he gets a bad rap. Now we got in the new. It looks good. Yeah. I mean, I'm really hyped for this next coming season.
Hope so, man, and appreciate the optimism, Ken. I think if you're a Knicks fan, that's all you got, man. That's all you got, Ken. So we'll see how it goes. With Vassell, I mean, I don't think anyone's, you're going to lock down anybody for too long in the NBA. I mean, just based on the rules. But, again, when he brings that length, that wingspan, and you think about all the competition out there in the division, and again, what is next season going to bring in terms of schedule? Because what they're saying is due to COVID and some of the uncertainty there, you may have more division games. They're talking about doing more in-market games. What does that mean? I'm not sure. But it could mean that you're going to have more Knicks versus Nets, Knicks versus Celtics, Raptors, Philly, because they're all in that same market, in that same corridor. Maybe they play more cluster type of games. So, again, you're going to be seeing a lot of those guys. Simmons, KD, Tatum, Brown, Siakam. It's going to be heavy, man. I'm not saying that Vassell or any of these wings that they bring in or may bring in is just going to be an immediate impact. But looking towards the future, these guys in the division, you got to figure these guys are going to be there for some time. I don't know what Philly's going to do, but figure KD, figure Siakam, Jaylen Brown, 3-4 years, these guys are going to be right there on the Knicks' back. So whether it's through the draft or whether it's through free agency or something, they're going to have to address their defense on the perimeter. Absolutely. Let's hear from the mayor of the show, Ari from Manhattan. Ari, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up? Happy birthday. Happy belated, TP. How you doing?
How you doing, bro? How's everything?
I'm good. So, regarding the draft, real quick, I'll be honest with you. I don't know much. I'm not as knowledgeable about this as most of you guys because I haven't been watching these guys. But what I will say is this: we should not take the best athlete. We've done that before. Dennis Smith was the best athlete in the draft. We took him. Russell Westbrook is an incredible athlete. He's at home right now. Giannis is an incredible athlete. He's at home right now. Pascal Siakam is an incredible athlete. He's at home right now. And who's still playing? Tyler Hero's still playing. Chris Paul's balling. Jamal Murray's still playing. People that could actually create shots and actually have skills, that have a skill set that they could add to a team, all right? I'm tired. I don't like this, how long your wingspan is. Let's pick this guy. Or how high his 40-inch vertical is. Let's take him. We need some basketball players. We don't need some athletes, all right? So I do not like the Okoro pick. I think that we either need to go with a point guard or a shooter. So I have no problem with Vassell, Kier Lewis, whatever other point guard is there. Jay from Florida is the GOAT, but I'm not touching Cole Anthony personally. But we need to either get a point guard or someone who has skills, basketball skills, who could shoot. I don't need an athlete. I don't want an athlete on this team. All right, we have Mitch. We have RJ's a good athlete. You could find, it's the NBA. You could find athletes everywhere. We need basketball players, right? So I do not like the Okoro pick. That's number one. Number two, you know, we need a point guard, man. Like, so we could either get it in the draft or, you know, we could get it through free agency. But I mean, we're not winning anything without a point guard with a competent point guard on this team, because then the spacing is going to get screwed up, and we need someone to manage the floor. So whether that's CP3, the Mike Conley deal, Goran Dragic has been balling, you know, Fred VanVleet. You know, I don't know if I'd pay these guys, but I'm saying we need, like Schroeder, we need a point guard in this team, right? And personally, I love the Julius Randle for Mike Conley trade. Kill two birds with one stone, get Randle out of here, get a competent point guard in here, you know. And I know the last episode or whatever you had, you know, a lot of people are knocking the CP3 deal, and you know, I kind of understand that. I wouldn't give up assets to draft picks to get him. But what I will say is this: you could get him for a year, change the culture, all right, make your team relevant, maybe fight for a playoff spot, make yourself at least somewhat attractive to free agents, and if everything else fails, you can still move CP3 the next year in his contract year and get your draft picks then, right? It's not like you can't get we got a draft pick for Mookin's contract year. You can get a draft pick for CP3 in his contract year too. You know what I mean? So I think what we have to do is just draft the best basketball player. Forget about athleticism. Tyler Hero's not an athlete. You know, Jamal Murray's not known for his athleticism, and these guys are balling. All right, so we need to get a basketball player who's got skills. We need to get a point guard, regardless of, it doesn't have to be the best point guard. We just need a competent point guard. Anyone besides Frank and Dennis Smith Jr. I'm cool with, or Alfred Payton. Anything better than that is good with me. And then what we have to do is we have to basically, you know, fill this team out with shooters, and you know, try to make a move for Lauri Markkanen, get rid of Julius Randle. That's what I would do. But you know, the CP3 thing, it's like people think, oh, you know, you can't move him in his contract year. You could absolutely move in his contract year. It's actually just his trade value probably only goes up if he has a similar season, because then the team getting him is going to clear 40 mil off the books, and they're going to get a player that's going to make a run for a contender. You could probably get 2 draft picks for him. But you know, we have to make ourselves attractive for free agents, and we have to get a point guard and shooting on this team. Yeah. So I would stay away from Okoro and try to build it through like that. So that's what I got to say.
He's a gamble, no doubt about it. He's a gamble. But again, this is why you have coaches. This is why you have development staff. And some guys, yeah, maybe out the box, they may be a bit raw. They may still be a bit of a project on the offensive side of the things. But how do the Knicks evaluate a kid like this in terms of his ceiling? You know, how far do they think they can get him, right? If from what you're hearing, a lot of these scouts don't mind that the shot is broken. They feel like it can be fixed. Now, 67% from the free throw line, they try to tell you that that's an indicator of how well a guy's going to shoot. And if he's shooting 67% from the free throw line, yeah, that's a red flag. But, you know, again, do they see if he can elevate that, if he can increase that? Jimmy Butler was around 75% consistently at Marquette. You know, came into the league, he's still around those numbers. But what you're seeing from Jimmy Butler in the bubble is that even though his three-point numbers were atrocious during the regular season, it's now around 40% in the postseason because he's a guy that can elevate his game. That's in here. That's the heart, and that's in here. So does Okoro have those type of intangibles? I don't know. That I can't tell you that. I haven't scouted and evaluated him in that regard. But what I'm saying is, do the Knicks see him in that vein that can elevate his game, take it to another level? Yeah, he's raw right now, but you know, it's not to say that that's going to be the end product. But it is a risk, especially with what you're dealing with right now with RJ's question marks and so on. So if you do bring him in here, you better make sure that your point guard can address those shooting deficiencies, especially off ball, and your power forward. It means you gotta ship out Julius or look for a stretch for prototype archetype after Julius is gone. So again, it's there's many ways to skin a cat. I definitely hear you, Ari. We need some hoopers. We need some hoopers in here. Need some shooters. Definitely come hook or by crook. And I think they will address a point guard situation. I don't think it's going to be at 8. Unless Killian is there, I don't see them doing it. I don't see them going for Haliburton. I could be wrong. But whether it's at 8 or at 27, I think they'll bring in I think they'll bring in a point guard and see what he's about. Couple more calls. Let's go to Joe from Ohio. Joe, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, bro. Go ahead with your point. Just turn down the volume on your TV.
Okay. I'm gonna step away real quick. Well, hey man, I wanted to talk to you about our draft philosophy, right? I really like these 3-and-D dudes. I feel like that's the way to how you get your team to be glued up and all together and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side of it, you don't have a team that's ready for anybody like that.
Yeah.
Right. Especially like with the trajectory of how most of us Knicks fans, and it sounds like the front office is thinking about the way in which we're going. We need some centerpieces. We need some dudes and who can be able to create their own shot, because last offseason, I think it was a trash offseason for us because of the expectations that we had. But one thing that we did come away with, it seems like we don't have a lot of shooters right now, but Reggie Bullock and Wayne Ellington, they were, before they came to us,
yeah, those are the shooters
they were
we
looked
needed.
at as guys who can be 3-and-D guys,
Facts,
right?
Facts.
And
well, not Ellington from a defensive
like
standpoint, but Bullock for sure.
Bullock, yeah, right. Not on a defensive point, but yeah, Ellington could definitely spray it, and we're both team guys. I like that. He can shoot it as well, but if you don't have a point guard who can create for himself, that won't matter at all. They're going to shoot in the 33s, the 35, the 32%, just because they're not getting any open shots at all because they can't create, right? If we get somebody who can create for himself and then be able to kind of just basically vibe and dish off that, then you can really see them being able to be shooters. That is the secondary part of the team building. If we get a guy like Vassell or Okoro, love those dudes. I love that game just because it's like glue game, right? You need those dudes for championship to be a championship team. But if we get those dudes, they'll basically look just like Wayne Ellington and Reggie Bullock. You know what I'm saying? And those are good guys. You know what I'm saying? Good, seem like they're real good dudes, whatever. But you're going to get them to be able to where they're not going to be getting open shots. They're going to be shooting in the low 30s probably, shooting in the mid 30s, just because, yeah, they're good 3-and-D guys. But who's going to be giving them the ball?
Yeah.
Wayne, or what's our point guard's name now? Alfred Payton. He can't shoot worth a lick. He shot 20%. He can't create his own shot. You know what I'm saying? So if we don't have anybody like that on our team, then we're going to continue to. And if we want to get these 3-and-D guys, our team is still going to look the exact same. Yes. Just because we still won't have anybody who can create, who can get them the ball. Yeah. So I think that should be our most important aspect of getting somebody in the draft. I don't want Van Vliet. I like Van Vliet's game, but he's kind of just too old. He should be on the win now team. We're even if we get Van Vliet, what are we going to be winning? 32 games? You know what I'm saying? 30 games? I don't think that's the right move. I think we should get a Kyra, get a Cole. I know everybody's kind of iffy on those dudes, but get a Kyra, get a Cole. Hopefully Killian. I don't see Killian being there, but hopefully Killian. And then you'll really be able to see guys like that, like blossom on our team. Yeah. Even Randall shot good from three when he was with New Orleans, but he had shot creators on his team. So if we're able to get somebody like that, I feel like every single player on our team's game will be able to. You'll really be able to see what you have.
Absolutely.
Even if somebody like I'm out on Knox, but even if on somebody like Knox. So
absolutely.
That's all I got, man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the call, man. Definitely appreciate the call. And listen, you're right. And I think Knicks fans have to be prepared for that. That, everything is not gonna be solved, or every move that's made in this offseason is not necessarily gonna put us in a position where this team is just, built to, grow together, right? It's still going to take time. This year is going to take a piece. Next year is going to take a piece. You may not get your game changer. You're probably not going to get your game changer in this draft, right? Or the guy that's just going to pick this whole team up going into next season. A John Morant type, or even a Brandon Clark type. You might not even get that guy. But again, like you said, you go out, maybe you get a CP3. If you get a CP3, now you're cooking. He's gonna cost you. I mean, you might not like the deal, but overall impact on the team, that's gonna elevate everybody, right? You go get an Okoro, you might not elevate everybody right this second. So we need a playmaker. We need an engine. We need a shot creator. Right now, what you're seeing on a lot of these mocks is Akira is going to be in the teens, maybe, right? So if he's not at 8, how do the Knicks, if the Knicks like him, how will they maneuver to go get him? Will they be willing to trade up for him? Will they be willing to trade down and get him? Or do they just say, you know what, we'll stick with our picks, 8, 27, and 38. Let the chips fall where they may. See who Walt Perrin likes in that guard position. Maybe he likes a Malachi Flynn. Bring in Malachi Flynn. You sit him down with Johnny Bryant, and you see what you get out of him. That's just how it's going to be. We're not going to – there's no silver bullets in this offseason. Just building blocks. And so that's what we have to prepare ourselves for. That's what we got to prepare ourselves for. All right, last call of the night. Josh from San Diego. We're going on the West Coast. Josh, how you feeling, man?
CP, what's going on? Happy belated, brothers.
Thank you, bro. How you feeling, man?
I'm all right. I just want to say that so it was a couple calls ago, he said that he's tired of having athletes on the team. And I'm like, well, you can develop athletes. I mean, you can't develop athleticism. That's not something you can coach or you can, you can't develop that. So I would rather have an athlete that's already an athlete that you can develop the basketball aspects of his game. With that being said, I'm hoping that Obi Toppin falls. People get scared enough by his age that he falls to us at the 8th pick because, one, he would be the best player available at that time, and we need not just a point guard. We need a lot of different things. But two, he's so athletic, and his offensive game is he can play now. He can play in the NBA right now at this point. Because of his offensive game, he can step out. He can he's above the rim kind of player. He can grab rebounds, and he can actually dribble. The defensive thing is a little bit of a concern, but again, that's something you can develop and you can fix it in the team aspect. With that being said, if the Knicks, they don't go point guard with the 8th pick, we can get another point guard. It's RJ Hampton sitting there at 27 probably. I like the fact that they're talking to him because prior to this whole COVID thing, him and LaMelo Ball were the two prodigies that were being talked about. But since COVID happened and the Knicks fell to the 8th pick, it's like, oh, well, those guys aren't as good. So I'm hoping that the Knicks do get best player available at 8. And if there is a point guard or someone like that later on in the draft, I would try to go that route later on in the draft if they don't go point guard at the 8th pick. But best player available at 8, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I agree. Thanks for the call, Josh. I agree. If Obi's there, listen, I think they have to consider it. Again, the age thing. I think I gave you guys a list of players that was taken after 21 recently. Not the greatest list of players, but I wouldn't let that stop me from, taking a kid like this with talent that he has. Yeah, the defense certainly scares you, but you hope that you can mask it playing behind Mitch or playing with Mitch out there and go with it. Babcock and them, they have OB going at 1, which is pretty surprising. I still think Minnesota would go with Anthony Edwards. I don't see them taking Toppin, but if he does slip, could he fall to 8 based on how things go? I see some teams, some mocks have him going to Cleveland. Some mocks have him at the Knicks. I see a lot of mocks having him with the Knicks. So we'll see, man. We'll see. It is a crapshoot. And we'll see where the chips fall. We'll see what the Knicks draft board looks like in about 2 months. 2 more months. So stick with us, man. Definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. Want to give a big shout out to Matt Babcock and Babcock Hoops for coming through. What did you think about his draft for the Knicks? Isaac Okoro at 8. Tyrese Maxey at 27. Udoka Azubuike out of Kansas, center out of Kansas at 38. Leave a comment in the chat. Leave a comment below. We will be running replays of these shows. Shout out to the replay gang. Leave me a hashtag replay gang if you're watching this at a later time. But remember, these shows are also available in audio podcast format. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, everywhere. Amazon Alexa, Stitcher. Google Play. It's everywhere. You can get your merch in the video description as well. And yeah, man, good to be back, man. Salute to everybody for the birthday love. Definitely appreciate it. Salute to, we got a new subscriber. Salute to Thomas Mary Addison. Thomas, welcome to the family. Definitely hit that subscribe button like Thomas. And yeah, we'll definitely check back with you guys later on this week. 616, we did well, man. Continue to share these videos. Continue to hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Salute to Dave, TM, all the mods, Shells Heavy, Rome, Above the Rim. Make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Pranav, always appreciate it. Coaches Carter, appreciate it. Chancey Admiral Simmons says if Obi's there, you take him. John Talento, always in here first. Appreciate you, John. Who else we got in here? Marlon Small Team, hashtag. Yeah, man. You dig. Chuck Allen, appreciate it. Who else we got in there? Ari, definitely appreciate it. Keith Sinclair, always appreciate it. Zach Patton, always appreciate it. Dalton Floyd, appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys one last time. And we'll check you guys later on in the week. Great show, everybody. Stephen Fox, appreciate it. Peace.